Today is really an unfortunate day for me because I took a small loss here. I sized down half. I was in three cons, and just took that loss for no reason. Time wasn't aligned. I just took that purely based on a gamble. And then come later, after I see my actual A plus model on the 5 minute play out, 5 minute CISD, just to go over this entry, we had an accumulation, manipulation, 90-minute cycle, SMT. In the 5 minute, if you put on our OTE, that would be at above 50%. That would be a 50% premium sweep. After that, we would look at the 5 minute inversion slightly right here, but really we would use 1030 as our price to sell off of. We can probably go in the 30 second and find a fair value gap entry, something like here in this order block would be a great entry. Anywhere up here would also be a great entry in that 5 minute CISD. So that was the short that we missed. It ended up playing all the way to, let's just mark this out because I was already targeting this to the 10 a.m. low, which is actually before 10 a.m., but I saw it as the 10 a.m. low. And I'm going to get into the AM session, but first I do want to talk about this short position because this was a great trade and it was what I was looking for. I have to say this to myself all the time, by the way. Price does not come up and then come down immediately and make a large move like that. There's always going to be some sort of time distortion waiting for this next 90 minute. Because look at this, perfect. Accumulation, expansion, 90 minute. Distribution cycle, the biggest move. We're expecting expansion, accumulation, manipulate, the high, distribution, 5 minute CISD, targeting post 10 a.m. low, which would be this low right here, low hanging fruit. Then we have OTE range, low, discount low, sell side of the AM. Then we have true day open and Asia sell side, which I ended up exiting right here on this terrible trade because I longed here. I was looking at the 90 minute. This was holding. I thought that we were just so bullish. We're at an all time highs. We're going to continue that. And I just kind of gave up my short idea. And then after this, we had a wick like about here, and that's where I got closed for my first trade. It was like about there. And then I re-entered at a terrible point. I was just waiting. My re-entry should have been earlier if I wanted to be in that trade. And nothing was aligned, mind you. We're just like playing off a continuation off of the new daily opening gap, hoping that the new daily opening gap would just send us lower to the other half of price, which is right here on ES. That's what around the time we were selling. So this right here, no fair value gap tap, just order blocks on the 1 minute and 2 minute chart. I mean, it was really just terrible. But because of this quick delivery, I thought that I'd go stop break even as soon as I could, and which was terrible because look at this. I entered and then it went immediately up. This was my stop. The body's above this. This is our 90 minute candle, and I exited right here. Like on this drop right here, I think it went from like 700 to 900, and I just closed immediately. And I lost 150 here. I lost I lost 250 here, and then so I was at 400 loss for the day. I ended up taking this trade. One of them, I just set a runner and couldn't take it, so I set it for break even, and I obviously got stopped out because our true microcycle opened right here, and we had to purge some sort of liquidity because we're coming into expansion accumulation, or if this is accumulation, this is manipulation, which would manipulate a high. Either way, accumulation or manipulation would have stopped me out because my entry was just not even close to the top. So just completely stupid reason. I should have closed my full position when I had reached our basically low of day, where I should have been a good boy and sold at the low of day like I did for the rest of my 4 contracts. And that was 5 contracts, mind you. That right there was 900. So it was almost a 100 point trade. So I just had to get off after that. I had to make this video and show you how badly I messed up so I can save you from making that same mistake. So off of this new daily opening gap is valid entries. I use the quadrants to do that kind of thing, but it really only happens if we're on a distribution day. Like this distribution day, in distribution quarter, in distribution micro, in the distribution microcycle, in the distribution 90 minute. So I was expecting this to be an expansion to whatever sell side we had, and after true day open got hit, I had stops break even. I was just holding the trade, hoping it would just go lower and lower. So I was in that trade Thank God. It was all thanks to God that I was that I exited right there when I did with most of my cons because I would have a break even day and I wouldn't be up like 1 hour, which is so little, but we were down 400, so it's a good comeback. In the morning, I do want to talk about ES and NQ together because I was bullish until I was bearish, and then I was bullish again, and then I wanted to be bearish when we were creating SMT, a DC with YM at these highs, and still with ES, we have a DC because our all time high is not swept. So I'm expecting tomorrow to dump because TGIF Friday usually, and I talked about this before, weekly halving theory, first 3 or 2 days of the week will um, be our high, and then our next 2 or 3 days will be our low. So we have to have a high and low of the week. That's just how it works. We rarely have an expansion week, but it's all time highs, so it does happen. But when we're in the range trading, that's what I'm looking for in the week. I'm looking to not predict our high, but out of this is the largest dump we've had all week. And so, our third day being that it's, or sorry, fourth day that is being Thursday, I'm expecting the high of the week to be put in, and this looks like a good high of the week because we haven't had like a 5 minute CISD this powerful in a long, long time. So tomorrow I'm probably going to be looking for shorts until my biases flipped, and we'll just have to wait for AM open to see data for that. So off of this 15-minute retrace, probably we're having, yeah, 15-minute retrace. I would like it to come up higher to retrace, but that would be like A plus plus. Right now, I think we're just gonna actually dump. But let's start with the daily cycles. Get into the trade of AM from the 5 minute chart, and we'll talk about the trade I should have taken long in AM. So accumulation, manipulation, distribution, expansion. This manipulation right here, if we pull up ES, so right here, I was really, and actually I think we're wrong. This is XAMD. Yeah, we are wrong. Wow, okay. So distribution is definitely lower. If you look at YM, we're completely dumping. So expand the range right here. I did not expect that to be expansion. It kind of looked like accumulation manipulates this high is what I was looking for. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution higher, and then this would continue higher, and then expansion would probably bring us higher or retrace us lower. I did not expect us to get this kind of a dump. I'm gonna be honest, because my cycles were wrong, so I just didn't expect it at this time, but it made sense thinking that this is manipulation because it manipulated both sides. Like, let's be honest, we manipulated the highs, creating this DC, and then we manipulated the lows. Right here, our true day open was manipulated, our 90-minute cycle was manipulated. And so I talked yesterday about the 90-minute holding and the microcycle breaking and me entering on a trade, and this right here is what that is. So that right there, I'm going to talk about that 10 a.m. trade because I was looking at it and it looked clean. I just hesitated and ES looked cleaner, so I didn't take it. Let's get rid of this 90-minute, and we're left with this 90-minute come open, which I was looking at open, and that would have been such a good trade to take to all-time highs, but I just didn't take it because there wasn't the right confluence. It was just a fair value gap in the 90-minute, and I didn't want to get wicked out was the biggest thing. And looking back, I could have taken that trade because I wasn't looking at order blocks, but if we look at this is a propulsion block. We have an order block. We did not hit CE of that. You see that respecting. Then we create another order block, and we just completely run from that. CE is not even touched. We're closing, barely created a wick to trade into the body, and so we expanded aggressively from that. You can tell by the next 3 candle movement is like 100 points altogether. So that would be easily 80 points. Yeah, so that would easily be a propulsion block. I just didn't see it in the moment because I was looking for fair value gaps to get tapped into like this. But by that time, we were already expanding out of the range. And what I was looking at, come open, let's just mark out our open. It was like right, let's just mark it there. So mark coming out our open. And I don't want to go to replay because it's important to look at the data so we learn because it'll repeat and there's really no point in going to regular trading hours if we have the data. So I do like back testing, but I think forward testing just dominates all and it gives you real market experience. So coming in, first presented, create on ES. That's nice. 15-minute also created. So off of this, I was looking for my short at this time. And at that time, I'm not going to explain this short anymore. It was just stupid. So off of this, coming into True New York, right here, we mitigated True Day Open. This 90-minute cycle's taken. Same on YM. YM just completely dumped. And, or sorry, YM swept the high. Let's actually bring up YM. So YM swept the high at this time and then dumped for the rest of the day. So at this time, keep in mind the high was swept. So we have a bearish DC, bearish 90-minute, and when we just created a DC on ES, and we have a bullish 90 minutes. So we have both DC and 90 minutes opposing on both sides. Keep that in mind. Then after this, what am I looking for in the PO3? I'm looking for an open low, high close. This was an open low. I wasn't expecting the PO3 to be bullish, honestly. I thought that I was actually looking at this short for the PO3 and the first presented. We got a slight tap there. We were in the daily quadrants. This was CE of our daily for value gap. Sorry, our new daily opening gap. Wait. Yeah, I was in regular trading hours. So off of this gap, put the quadrants on, and we're actually going to look at these entries for re-entering, because right here, this is CE of the new daily opening gap. If we're trading below the new daily opening gap, then that's like new daily opening gap is a clear sign that we're just going to rebalance the other side of the range and move lower. We're just going to create a higher time frame market maker model and not, come internally and then move up and internally move up. So a good thing to note is that 5-minute CISDs usually happen in relation with this. So they're happening at the same time because this 5-minute CISD confirms a bigger 15-minute retrace move short and possibly like 1 hour, 4 hour, 1 hour, or 90-minute. So that is also important to note. 5-minute correlated to the 90-minute PO3. And when that inversed from the daily for value gap, when the 90-minute for value gap was getting inversed, I thought that I could just re-enter and I would take this to the low. So really not a great idea for trading, but it was a 1 to 2 and my stop was above the 90-minute candle wick high. So I just took it. I just took it, bro. Really, that's all I want to cover. This right here, you could have easily taken this. This was a great trade. For me, I was so just analysis paralysis retarded off of the DCs in 90 minutes that I just didn't know what to take. So I was going to wait for 10 a.m. to retrace back into this range, which I had marked out on ES, and ES did it perfectly. We tapped into a 3-minute, and if you look today, we traded more in the 3-minute than the 2-minute. So that's what I did use. See, the 2-minute, we had a gap right here, and I wanted it to come back into this, and it came back into the higher one. So 10 a.m. was a continuation of the 30-minute up until the 10:30 opened, and then we created our new cycle in the 90-minute, and that was our higher time frame CISD to send us lower, and we're going to continue lower, it looks like, from this. So 3-minute really looks much cleaner. I mean, even you can see in this, we have this BPR on the 3-minute. We have this 3-minute inversion, 3-minute fair value gap that is being respected. The 3-minute looked very clean today. 3-minute fair value gap here on 50% was what I was looking to get in on the way up, because I was okay if, like on the 30-second, I wasn't aware of the propulsion block because I haven't looked for those in a long time. So I was expecting it to come, a little bit lower, probably around here, but I would want to get ideally around the 90-minute. So if I just put on, my 30, 40 point risk, entering right there or at the retracement in that area would be a safe entry, and I would ideally manage my risk so that it would be somewhere like that, and then 1-to-1 would be easily achievable with that target because it would be a retrace to where we were. So right there, and then from there, basically our high until we got this inversion. And then if you were still in it by that time, after that 5-minute CISD, it would have closed definitely around this manipulation, either when manipulation started right there or where distribution is starting to go, because it's manipulating higher, so it's going to distribute lower. That's just PO3. That's just the way it moves. So good buy model on the AM and PM wise, but not a lot of time frame, or sorry, crack and correlation alignment that looked A plus for me in the AM. But the PM did look good because we had that daily cycle intact, and because ES came that close to touching it and create a 5 minute CISD, it's highly likely that we're going to drop very, very far because it's just not touching it. And if it's not touching it at all time highs, it's kind of crazy that we're going to move lower, but that's just how it goes. I've traded all time highs before, I know how it goes. And the high of the week is something that you can predict in all time highs, but it's very, very hard. Very, very hard. And so I just got a little ahead of myself and I didn't wait for the next 90 minute because I was essentially just done with that 90 minute at the time when I was praying to get a short immediately after. Really, we have to wait for distribution in the next 90 minute. That's just how it is. That's where the A plus plus setup is, and you can see right there. This short would have made your year. 100% just would have made your year. Day open 1 to 5 already, 1 to 7, 1 to 7. Like I'm telling you, and we held that. Not really all of it, but if we were in, then this would be a great exit. I hope we get something like that in the future, and I'll be ready for it. So that's it. There was a lot of good analysis that was done today, but nothing delivered in a great way. So I'm sad about that. Oh, one thing I did forget to say is this 10 a.m., 10:30, they were very different. Look how different they are. I mean, they're so much higher on ES, and that just gave a lot of uncertainty in the AM because this retrace, I wanted to take this short, honestly, off of ES, off of this first presented to send lower. I'll make it bigger so you can see this. So right here, I wanted to short this, but I saw that on our 3 minute, it's just manipulating lower because there's our 3 minute. Body closes perfectly inside around CE, at CE. 30 minute, or sorry, taps into the 3 minute inversion and closing the 3 minute bullish. I knew we were bullish after that, and so it was stupid to take that short at that time because at that time ES was delayed because we had our move lower but just took longer to happen. So because of that, ES was making that move to push the all-time high at the time that I was shorting, and so just another reason to not short all-time highs in the AM, especially. Wait for a new 90 minute, wait for at least a 5 minute CISD. Wow, I can't believe we're up. So that's gonna end the video. I think tomorrow we're gonna short, so we'll take one trade tomorrow, same risk, only one trade guaranteed. So we'll see what we get tomorrow. And if we're not gonna play the first 90 minute cycle, I think I will play the next one because I am likely not doing much. Yeah. So, and I injured my neck, so I'm just gonna kind of be chilling. All right, I'll see you in the next video, guys.